Hello guys and welcome. This is going to be two videos mashed into one, and then we'll be doing a prediction video on the official prediction Euros app when we go into the next episode. Today we are going to be reviewing my Euro 2024 group predictions. There's some shockers and there's actually one really good one that I'm actually really surprised by. But yes, let's review the groups and then let's have a look at my predictions for the tournament at the same time. So we're going to go through each group, look at the predictions, see how many I got right, see how many I got wrong, and then we're going to rank the positions at the end of this video of how many I got right. Let's do the reviews first of each group, starting off with Group A. Scotland. I thought it was going to happen. I generally thought that they were going to click. They were going to get top 3, top 2. They're going to have a really good tournament. But no, it just didn't click. And I had this theory against Switzerland. I thought they're going to do really well in the second game. And then just not turn up in that third one. I think it was kind of that, but at the same time, the ref was so bad. Very, very bad. And there's been a lot of controversial decisions with penalties at this third round, and it's a big thing that needs to be talked about if the referees have time to talk about it now in these next 2 days. But yeah, I can't really, get annoyed at the results. It's so annoying for Scotland. They deserve to go through. I mean, there's questions about how Scotland have played at this tournament. I mean, I don't know how they didn't, take away a lot from that first game. But, for me, I think Scotland's tournament is exactly the same as the last tournament. They get elements that pick them up, and then it just doesn't end very well for them. And there's going to be elements now for Scotland of what do they need to do to, improve in this tournament. And, for me, Alexa, off. I think for me, it's very interesting to see that, an opportunity like this has gone horribly wrong for Scotland. I mean, shit. For Scotland, it's all about learning. And, as a team, I think they've got a great opportunity, to improve. But it's over for them. Heartbreaking, really, to lose to Hungary like that. Hungary didn't go through because of all the other groups. That's actually quite iconic and quite funny if you think about it, that other teams did better than them and went through anyway. So, it's quite funny. Anyway, I'm going to move on now to Group B. Not the most entertaining group to finish off on. Let's talk about Group B. Spain topped the group with a clean sheet every game and on 9 points. The first team and the only team to do it at this tournament in the group stages. Italy and Croatia fought it out for second and third. And Croatia actually eventually dropped off. What a dismal of a tournament for Croatia. If you would have remembered, I predicted Croatia to be inside that top 2. I thought they would have done it. I thought they would have had a little bit more quality. Same with the Italians, really. But I can't, look at each group and say, oh, that team's going to do well, that team's not going to do very well. I mean, for me, it's difficult to predict this group because you had elements of maybe Albania could come into the last game and maybe just sneak into second because of the two draws of that one draw. But I think Albania have done really well. I think they've done better than we thought they did. I said Albania were going to be really good. I didn't think they were going to go through, and I didn't think they're going to have the quality to get top three. But I did think that defense record and the way that they play, ultimately, will be the reason why they were just going to go through anyway. Um, Italy were good. They showed quality against Croatia. I mean, they've not been great, the same as Croatia. And Spain were average in this game. I don't think you can get annoyed at Spain. A lot of people criticise them, but I don't think you can criticise them. Albania have been a good team. They took players off Spain, rightfully so, and they won the game. They've been the best team this tournament, Spain. And I forgot to talk about Germany. So I'm going to finish this one off and then talk about Germany quickly and Switzerland. I don't know how I've done that. Forgot about Germany and Switzerland, but yeah, I can't be annoyed with how Group B ended. I think it was a phenomenal way to finish the tournament, and man, what a start to the tournament, really. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go back to Group A quickly. Let's talk about Switzerland, Germany. I mean, this group was actually not as entertaining in the last two rounds. I mean, the Croatia-Albania game was good, but Spain versus Italy was very tight, and Italy showed elements that Spain weren't as dominant. I think Spain were better in the Albania game than they were in the Italy game, actually. So you could take that into mind. But let's go back to Switzerland, Germany very quickly. So Switzerland, Germany, yes, we're still in Group A, but we're just going to go back very quickly. Nothing really from the Germans. Switzerland were very close to winning the group, I think. Had they beaten Germany, that would have been quite a shock. It would have been Germany would have been on our end of the stick. Luckily, that didn't happen. Germany found a way. They always do tournaments, and it seems like it's going to be one of their stronger tournaments that they've had in recent years. Are Germany good enough to go further in this tournament? Probably. I think the route to the quarters is quite nice. They should get past, but it is that quarter and semi-finals that's going to be their biggest hurdles, and the experience of a Spain team, and I think Spain and Germany in a similar boat. Whoever wins that game might actually be the finalists in this tournament, but who knows? Who really knows? Anyway, this is going to come straight after Group B's review, so we're going to go straight back to Group C. Oh, England do not make it any easy. England have won their group because of Serbia and Denmark's mistakes. And I've got to say, best half we've had. I mean, this is going to come out straight after the England review. Can't be annoyed at it, really. But, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult to predict. So, for me, I think looking at this, looking at how this tournament is going to go now, I think for England, that's going to get better. I think a lot of people looked at England, criticised them, looked at it and was like, oh, they haven't won. Why are people looking at positives? But England can look as positive as they can. That was our best 45 minutes. We've actually played 45 minutes of football in the whole of this tournament. We can actually say that now in this second game. The only question I think a lot of people were going to need to, question is, have we, good enough qualities to beat Italy? We will have the qualities to beat Slovakia. We now know who we're playing yesterday night, but I think we've got a bit of luck. I mean, we still could come against the Dutch in semis. I think that's possible. I don't think the Dutch are going to be quiet. I think, the Netherlands and Italy are going to be good teams to have going into the finals. And I think we will beat those teams. But, there will be twists and turns. There will be moments and elements that, change this tournament up. But Group D's been a really weird one. It's been probably the most boringest group I've ever seen. 2 draws in the last 2 games. Only 1 win. That was England's win against Serbia. 5 draws. That I don't think has ever happened at a Euros. I don't think Serbia or Denmark have shown any qualities to be the favourites, and the same for England. I do think Slovenia deserved to win this group. I don't know why they didn't go on and win the game. I know they could have gone for a draw, but I don't like that. I don't really like how Slovenia played. I think they were boring. I think they'll be different when they get to Portugal. And they got the harder end of the stick. But man, I can't. For me, I seriously cannot disagree with how boring Group D has actually been, and it's just not been entertaining. So we'll have to see. It is very difficult to predict, but who knows how this tournament will go. And we're at the halfway point of my round 3 review, so let's go to Group D. I was right. Austria were going to be good, but I put them third in my predictions, as you're going to see. I was not as confident, and oh, great. Netherlands were phenomenally strong. I don't know what I was going to say that. Phenomenally bad. I mean, to fumble the bag, going from the first game to the second game to the third game, they've just gotten worse. They've actually gotten worse than in England. I'm going to say that statement right now. I don't think England have been actually worse than them. It's clear from how many points we've got. But the Dutch have been awful. They're just not clicked in these last 2 games, and it's clear from that last game they're going to need a real mentality boost against Romania. France have been average at best. They've had quality, but let's be honest, the quality's not really been there. And Austria have been the best team in this group. They deserve it. I think this is similar to Group C, but it's actually delivered. And this should have happened in Group C, and should happened in Group B with Albania getting second, I feel. But I think we look at the tournament, there's confidence now going forwards for teams like France and Austria, because they've got quite nice fixtures. France have got Belgium. That's a result for them. And it's Austria's to win or lose against Turkey, who will be a phenomenally difficult game for them. But, obviously it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I think the biggest, element, of surprise is to see how this group has ended. I mean, I watched the Austria-Netherlands game, and it was absolutely crazy. It was probably the best game in that third round, and I think there's not been a team on phenomenal form throughout this whole tournament, but I think Austria are one of the top 2 with Spain at the moment, and then that's just pound to pound favourites. I think you put England and France maybe inside the top 6, but England are on the boundary of being in that top 6. But I mean, top 5 favourites for me now would be Austria 5th. I would go France 4th, Portugal 3rd. I would actually go for the Germans to be 2nd, and then Spain to be the favourites. But that could actually be the decider next round in that quarter. But no, I can't disagree that, there's been some exciting games and there's been some, questionable games in Group D. But yeah, it's been a great turnaround from the Austrians, and I can't wait to see that Turkey versus Austria game. That's going to be a phenomenal game. Let's move on to Group E, that has shown shocks and surprises, and a very first 4 points for 4 teams. As I said, it is very clear now. We know how Group E has ended, and I actually thought maybe there's a sneaky position that this will finish all on 4 points, and fair enough, it did. Ukraine are unlucky to be eliminated. I feel like, if I'm going to be honest, Ukraine were definitely second best and should have won that game against Belgium yesterday. I mean, there's no question of a doubt that Belgium were going to always show defensive quality to beat Ukraine, but they didn't win. They were very bad yesterday, and they've got now the harder end of the stick, where they're going to have to come against either the French and come against the French in round 16, and Slovenia or Portugal in the quarters, and then Spain or Germany, Denmark, or who's Spain, Germany, Denmark, or Georgia. There's a potential for Georgia to be in the conversation, and you can't take them out. I feel like Group E was actually the most exciting group, and I had this element in the back of my head that it was going to actually be more exciting because of how I said Belgium were not going to turn up at this tournament, and guess what? They did not turn up. I didn't think Ukraine were going to turn up at all. And we'll have a look at my predictions for the groups, and we'll see how many teams I got right out of the 16 to get to the round of 16. And next video will be a prediction of the route to the finals. So you could say, yes, elements of the group was exciting, but I think had it have gone Belgium's way, had it have gone Romania's way, I think Romania were going to win that game against Slovakia. I mean, it's such an exciting element of the tournament, and had that group didn't go its way, I don't think we would have had a very exciting route to the final for England. So, of course, Slovakia are probably going to be the team. I do think Slovakia have been second best in this group, and then it probably goes Romania. I would say Ukraine maybe second best. They've come really good into this. Slovakia the best, and Belgium been the worst. I think Belgium should have lost this group. I don't know how they didn't. I don't know how they handled them. It's worse than in England's games, actually. England have played slightly better than Belgium, but it's annoying that we haven't got them on our end of the stick. It would have been a great team to beat, and very similar to 1990's Belgium team that, did pretty well to get to the knockouts, but just didn't produce anything. For me, I think a big highlight of Group E is how open it's been, and how the other teams, Romania and Slovakia, have shown elements. It did drop off in the second game. That's a bit unusual. I would have thought maybe one of them would pick up, but we knew the plan was to draw for those two, and then hopefully a win from Ukraine or Belgium. But none of those teams actually delivered. And if you look at Ukraine's chances yesterday, they should have won that game. They should have not lost that game. It's an absolute shame not to see Ukraine in these knockout rounds. With what's going on in their country, I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't win that game. But it is what it is. It's tournament football, as England would say. Let's move on to Group F, and then we're going to look at how many teams I got right, in which positions I got right, and which ones got wrong. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm pretty confident with my predictions, but let's see. Okay, Group F, Portugal fumble the bag on 9 points, losing to Georgia. They did bring out a B team, but it is a B Tech team, if we're going to be honest. That depth is not looking great for Portugal. And without Ronaldo, they look an average team again. And this is what Portugal's problem has been for a very long time. When Ronaldo leaves, and it will most likely happen at the end of this tournament, are Portugal good? They did have João Felix, they did have Pepe, they did have Lacano, I think. I don't know how you say his name. Um, they had a lot of good players. They took a lot of players off, but they did have good players on. You cannot excuse it. If we're going to criticise England, you can't give excuses to France. You can't give excuses to Netherlands. You can't give excuses to Belgium. You can't give excuses to Portugal. I think it's very fair. If we're going to be honest, I think England actually came out stronger than Portugal and Belgium after this performance. I'm not even kidding. Because if you look at the 45 minutes we had in the second half compared to Portugal, you can actually debate it that England could beat Portugal in this tournament. But I'm going to talk about the other game quickly. Czechia and Turkey was an incredible game. Because I was for the first time in this tournament, I was switching between two games because at first Georgia were scoring goals, and we'll talk about Georgia in a minute because they've done an incredible job, and they could be a big threat for Spain. Actually, I think later on in this tournament. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows how this tournament is going to go now from this point onwards, because we've seen very different elements of the big favourites at this tournament. Even Germany and maybe even Spain. I don't know, you put Spain in the conversation because they've won every game and they've been clean sheet god tier like us at the last tournament, but we drawed against Scotland. But I can't disagree that, this has been a difficult tournament for Group F. I do think Turkey were a bit unlucky not to win the last game. They just cracked under the pressure against Portugal. But honestly, I think that Czechia-Turkey game is probably the second best game in this group stage, second best third round group stage fixture. It's up there with the Austria-Netherlands game, and I was so annoyed I didn't watch it fully through because I went back to watch the Portugal-Georgia game, and then that just died off. But it all kicked off in the last 10 minutes. There was fights, there was arguments. Of course, Czechia are going to get a bit emotional, and there was red cards as well. There was 2 red cards. I think there was like 3 or 2 red cards in the whole of that game. Absolutely crazy. And this will affect teams, and this is another reason why I say England have got a very, very good chance. If you look at all the teams from Group D to E and F, there's been a lot of red cards, especially with Austria. I think Austria and Turkey have got a big issue going into this next round that will affect them, because I do think it's going to be a very physical game. They will have to be very careful and have to play it by the ball because there's been a lot of yellow cards for a lot of the big teams. I think we've only got 2 or 3 in England's team right now. I don't think we're the worst. I don't think we're the least worst offender, but we are one of the lowest with Spain and probably France at the moment. I don't know at the moment. We'll have to look at that when we go onto the app for the next video. I want to look at that in detail. But yeah, of course, this tournament has had twists and turns. Turkey were very lucky last night to find something against Czechia, because Czechia, I think, were incredibly lucky to get away with that goal. But anyway, that is it. Let's now look at my predictions from the group stages point of view. We're not going to look further forwards. We'll do that in another video that's coming up next. But I'm nervous to actually look at this. Let's have a quick look. And let's find out how many teams I got right in the round of 16. Well. We are going on to YouTube. I mean, how about this? I didn't think I was going to ever do these type of videos, but let's give ourselves a quick video. There's a little sneak peek of another video that will be uploaded very soon. And this was done a month ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the volume... can I turn the volume down? I don't know if I turn the volume down. I'm just not going to let you listen to my voice because that is just boring. So this was my first group prediction, and there's obviously a big muck up here. Germany, I got right. So that is one that I have got right. That's the only one I got right in Group A. Group A and B was very hard to predict because there was at least 3 teams to finish second, and there was at least 3 teams to finish first in that aspect. But obviously, I had hope for Scotland. I think a lot of people did because of how great they were, leading into the qualifications. And I thought maybe it just turned around. And those friendlies were not going to be big questions, but yeah, it didn't end very well. I put Switzerland right at the bottom. That's the biggest mistake I've made probably in this tournament. Switzerland really did very well and actually again proved me wrong. I've always didn't for me I didn't think this time round actually Switzerland would have the luck, but they always find top two, and I don't know why I didn't do that originally. But yeah, I can't question that. I think Hungary was very close to getting second. I do think they could have done something against Switzerland in that opening fixture, but I think obviously with Hungary finishing in third and getting knocked out, that's a big mistake for me, because they didn't go through eventually in the knockouts. If they had gone through the knockouts, maybe that would have been less awkward. Yeah, I've got it completely wrong with the bottom 3, but I think Germany was always going to be a favourite and win this group. And it did come down to the wire very much in that last game. So, yeah, I can't disagree with that group. It was going off of what I felt and a little bit of what I've seen through the qualifications. And I did think Hungary were going to be good. And unfortunately, they are one of the two third place teams not to go through. So that's a bit of a shock. I would have probably put them slightly ahead of maybe it's a team in Group F or Group E, but it is what it is, really. We're going to move forwards very quickly, and I'm going to try and find. There you go. Okay, so Albania I got right. Spain I got completely wrong. Italy I got right. So I got 2 right, 2 wrong. Croatia was an absolute shambles at this tournament. And another third place team that's not going to be appearing at this tournament. That's very weird that Group B and A's third place teams are not in this tournament now. Albania, I said that they were going to be very good defensively, and rightfully so in the second game. I'm not too sure. But their attacking elements were brilliant. They had elements that caught a lot of the big teams off, especially with Croatia, especially against Italy. They didn't do it so much against Spain, and I think they just kind of wasted their opportunity to, go further in this tournament. Spain were a bit of a shock, but not a massive shock. I think a lot of people have been shocked how much they've been under the radar and how good they've been. The elements for Spain have been that they've been very high pressing, very good. Don't think the defense has been as challenged as other teams have been. So I think that's going to be an element they need to work on when they go against possibly Germany and maybe even Georgia next round. But of course, I think Italy were going to get top 2 as the champions. That was a big result for me. The only one that I got specifically right with Albania. I didn't. A lot of people said Croatia and Spain were going to stick through, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's fair enough to say that Italy and Croatia get top two because of how good Croatia have been. Not just at World Cups, but they've been semi decent at Euros. But I forgot about their records. They've not been great at Euros for a long time, Croatia. I don't think since 2016, I think was the last time Croatia were pretty decent at a Euros. But yeah, I can't get annoyed at myself. I think that was pretty fair. I didn't expect Croatia to be so bad at this tournament, but they were. And to see, how it went, I'm not. How much did I get that right? I'm sure I did. Albania did get bottom. I am going to have a quick look on the app because I'm unsure about that one. Yeah, I got it, right. Um, I did think, weirdly, in the back of my head, think um, I did think that Italy were going to draw one and win one to just go through. Just weirdly in the back of my head, and I thought Croatia might do what Spain did. I don't know. I just had it in the back of my head. It is a real disappointment for me to put Croatia in that first because had I've gone a bit more like with the most people going with, I would have got that prediction completely right. But anyway, that would have been a really harsh call on Croatia. I just didn't see how badly Croatia were leading into this tournament. And I do think they were going to be bad. Okay, Group C. What have I done? Okay, this was very interesting because it was a bit of a mix up at the bottom. I was right with Serbia. I was right with England. But again, it's a bit of a mix up between second and third. And actually, I'll be confident to say Slovenia could have done this if we were looking at it. I mean, it was a very close group. But yeah, I'm shocked how close I was actually at the end there. Serbia were poor. They were just very bad. I didn't think they had the element and the qualities, and that was pretty clear from the first game. They should have probably drawn against us in that first game. If I'm going to be honest with you, it should have been a draw first game. We should have drawn the second game. We should have won against Slovenia. If I'm going to be honest, that's how it should have really gone. Um, if I was looking at it over for performances, but that's not how it went. So you've just been kind of the back foot from that first game. They've not been able to really catch up, and even against Slovenia, they just didn't have element qualities that made them want to win the game. Denmark third and Slovenia second. I think that's a very good prediction. Actually, I did think Slovenia actually were going to come into this tournament and do well, and it's even better because Slovenia have gone through and Denmark have gone through. So that's actually technically three I've got right, but I've got those two in the wrong position. And again, it's that's five teams I've got right now. That's majority of half. That's like a quarter of the tournament, right? England, I didn't think they were going to do so badly. I did think they were going to drop off against Denmark, but I do think that they were going to have enough, maybe, to, um, go and do something in a tournament like this. Give me a sec. But no, I think that prediction there was actually more closer than you think. But oh well, it is what it is. And to get Slovenia into that top two, a lot of people looked at me and, there was a comment down below that said, wow, to see Slovenia and Romania up there, that's bold. But actually, if you think about it, Slovenia could have won this group very easily, but it is what it is. Let's move on to Group D very quickly. And I've got this maybe completely wrong. Oh, God. I've got this very wrong. Apart from Poland. Austria third. Oh, I didn't have confidence. I thought I put Austria second here. But when I re-looked at it the other day, I was not confident with Austria. I did think they were going to slip up at some point. But rightfully so. Netherlands, bad predictions here in Group D. Probably the worst I think we've had. Actually, I think Group A was worse. I don't think this is completely wrong. I do think if we put Austria first, and then maybe France second and Netherlands third, it would have been quite nice. Poland was the only one I got right. I think a lot of people didn't see Poland coming into this tournament. There was elements in that first game, but in that second game, it was just not good enough. And they are out of this tournament, rightfully so, from the second game. They were the first team to be eliminated that I think a lot of people wouldn't have predicted. But, Lewandowski not being part of that squad in that first game, I think was a real element of how poor Poland can be. But they've got great elements to them. You've drawn against France. That was a big shock, actually, at this tournament. And I don't think anyone would have predicted that. But, we move on. It is what it is. We are going to have to take it as a pinch of salt that this is how it's ended in my predictions. And only got one right. So that's 6 teams I got right now. That's half of the that's quarter of the tournament now, so that's good to get right in those predictions. Austria did go through, Netherlands got through, France got through, but I just got them all in the wrong way round, and I think that's very fair. A lot of people would have put France first, but I do think France were, I should have probably put France maybe second and then maybe Netherlands in first, I think, in my real predictions, but looking back at it, it's a bit of a shambles. All right, let's go on to Group E very quickly. Where is Group E? Where is Group E? There you go. Okay, this is actually not too bad, but there's only one I've got right here, and that no, I've got it all completely wrong. This was actually a bit of a shambles. Slovakia I kind of overlooked, but I said that they were going to do very well. I think I remember saying that. But yeah, I put Slovakia bottom, who finished actually in third. Ukraine have finished fourth. Should have finished, I think, in third realistically. Romania and Belgium in the top 2. That, if you think about it, is a good prediction. I didn't think Belgium were going to actually drop off, but they did really badly. Romania and Slovakia have been probably the 2 strongest teams in this group. Romania and I think Ukraine have been the 2 strongest, if I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah, that only really should have been, difficult for anyone to really predict. But I'm so annoyed that I didn't put Romania first. I had confidence with them. I said Romania were going to be really good at this tournament, like Slovenia. And I should have been confident enough to put them first. I don't know why I didn't. It's that question of ifs and should be's. But yeah, that was how I predicted it. I think it's very fair. I kind of overlooked Belgium over Romania. But fair enough. I was not far off there. And with Ukraine, it was just a bit of a shambles. I just didn't think Slovakia had the element and the qualities from what I've seen in the previous 2 tournaments that they've been in at the Euros to actually do it, to get third. So, yeah, I think that's not a harsh prediction, but that's actually the first time I've got it completely wrong. That's not actually happened at all at this tournament until now. So, let's go on to the final group, and that will be it. And then we'll have a look at how many teams I got right in total to get to this round of 16. That's a bit further forwards. But, yeah, I didn't get those 2 right. And, okay, I got the top... okay, so the top 2, I said Turkey was going to win. That was wrong. Someone commented down below. I was not far off, though. If you're going to be honest with me, I was not far off with Turkey doing this. Portugal getting second. I think that could have realistically happened had they not lost to... Had they lost that second game, this could have been a very different story for Portugal today. Czechia, I didn't think Georgia were going to do anything. They've really shocked us. to see Czechia not get the top 3 spot, I mean, I don't know whether I changed it at all. I hope I didn't. No, I didn't. You know, that's an absolute shame, really, for me. But yeah, can't be wrong with that. So yeah, I can't be angry with myself. I think that was unrealistic to Turkey at first. But yeah, to get no teams right there again, so frustrating. It's just swapping them over. It's exactly the same thing that's happened to me again. And, you know, it's actually the closest groups of the tournament that I said they would have been very difficult to predict. And they were very difficult to predict. But, oh, so frustrating. Absolutely frustrating that I didn't get that right. Let's go on now to look at how many teams I got right. So, how this is going to work, I'm going to count out how many teams I got right. I need a paper and pen. And then we're going to see how many round of 16 teams I got right, because this is going to be the true element of if I've got this tournament down to a T. Okay, so of course there's already 2 teams here that I haven't got right, but let's have a look if I got any right. So we're going to start with Portugal. That's 1, and Turkey is 2. So I got those 2 right. That's a good start. Romania and Belgium I got right as well. So that's 4 teams I got right. I think I got a lot more right, but we won't know until I go back to the 3rd place teams. I got France and Netherlands right, but in the wrong order of that completely group. I got England and Slovenia right, so that's another 2. So that gets me up to 8. That's really quite exciting. Got Italy and I didn't get Croatia right. That was completely wrong. So I only got Italy right, but I did, I think, put Spain through. So that might be the only time I've dropped. And Hungary and Scotland I got completely wrong, but I got Germany right. So let's have a look at how many round of 16 teams I got right. Let's find out. We've got to go forwards. So I only got 2 right. So in total, out of 16 teams, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that 10? 12. I got 12 right. That's actually really impressive. 12 teams I got right out of the 16. So I was 4 teams off. I mean, it's very close there. I don't know why I put Austria 5th. That's weird. I would have probably put... If looking back at this, I would have put Austria just ahead of Scotland if I looked at them now. And maybe Ukraine. I mean, I don't know why I didn't put Austria through. Maybe it was just because I thought Scotland were just going to sneak through. Is that my final? Scotland. Denmark and Spain are clearly going to get through. I don't think... You know, I put them... Yeah. And there you go. That is it, this video. This has probably been longer than what I've expected. But, yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed these reviews. I will be doing reviews every day a game goes on now, because it's not group stage fixtures anymore. We're going into the knockouts. So what I will do... I'll do a review every day from this point onwards. So I'll do quarterfinal day 1, quarterfinal day 2, or round of 16 day 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then quarterfinal day 1 and 2. But it will mean there'll be more videos coming out very quickly. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed these round 1 to 3 reviews and a review of my predictions for the group stages. Got 12 teams right to go to the round of 16, not in the specific order. I think I got 6 teams specifically right in their positions. That's pretty poor, actually. I would have wanted 12 to 14, but it is what it is. It is over now. we're going into the knockout rounds. My prediction video is going to come out tomorrow before the round 16 gets out of the way, but I'm going to record it today so I can get all these videos out. This is going to come out a little bit later on today, but thank you very much for tuning in again. It's been another great video. I hope you guys are enjoying this Euros content. We'll be back for more Euros content tomorrow, and then we'll be back the following day for the review of the first day of the round of 16. Anyway, bye-bye.